So it is very hot outside right now, and that's why in today's lesson I wanted to teach you some different idioms and expressions that all have the word hot or heat in it. And I want to switch things up a little bit today because what I want to do is I want to present these to you in the form of a quiz. And I'll give you a moment to think of your answer, and then of course I will tell you the answer, talk a little bit about what the idiom means and how people generally use it. And I think learning these is useful because it's going to help you improve your overall comprehension, but I tried to choose more common idioms that you may find yourself in a situation that you might be able to use them in just casual conversation and help you develop a more natural way of speaking. Your first question, your first idiom is right here. How would you complete this idiom? In the heat of the And I'll go ahead and tell you the meaning. It means that you do or say something without thinking because you get really angry. Suddenly you get angry or upset and you do or say something in the heat of the So as I was talking about the meaning, I think an important word, a key word would be suddenly. So it just really, it's like you're reacting all of a sudden when you get angry and you do something in that, well, that instance or that moment, in the heat of the moment. So this is an idiom that I think we can all relate to because if you're arguing with someone and you really get upset and you get angry, because again, heat has to do with anger, and you may say something or do something in the heat of the moment. And often when this happens, it's like you would either say or do something that you generally would regret. You regret doing this thing. So you may hear somebody even apologize and say, yeah, I'm sorry for saying this. I said it in the heat of the moment. Or you're talking about an instance in which you did something like you got really angry and yeah, I got so upset I threw the chair in the heat of the moment. And again, these are actions that you would typically regret, and you would say that it just happens in the heat of the moment.
What was she thinking?
I guess in the heat of the moment, she just forgot that she doesn't really like Matthew that way.
Honey, let me just tell you what I think. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, things happen.
The next idiom that I have for you, and I'm really, really starting to sweat, it is very hot out here, is to be in hot water. And I'm going ahead and giving you the idiom, and I want you to think about, well, what does it mean? Does it mean to be in danger? Does it mean to be rewarded for something? Or does it mean to be in trouble? Now, if you were to think about, well, literally being in hot water, it's not a good situation. So I'm sure you know it's not to be rewarded for doing something. What this means is to be in trouble. And it's like you do something and then somebody could say, wow, you're in hot water, all right, you're in trouble. Someone else is upset with you or they're angry, and then you would be in hot water. Again, this is another idiom that I think we can all relate to. If somebody was angry with you because you did something, and say, yeah, you know, right now I'm in a little bit of hot water with my boss because I missed the deadline. And yeah, she's just really angry with me and I'm in hot water. And if you do not hit that like button, then yeah, you're going to be in hot water. And I also think if you don't subscribe, then you're going to be in hot water. I'm going to be very angry. And of course, I don't mean that. I just said it in the heat of the moment. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Careful with that gun.
Yes, I know.
Girls are in some hot water. Both okay? Neither one of you hurt?
Oh, yes, sir, we're fine.
But I really would appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe, turn on notifications. That way I can become your teacher. My name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English, which is all about trying to help you reach your fluency goals. Then we have this idiom right here, to the heat. So what it means is well, you are the one who's going to get blamed, or you're going to accept the criticism, and you are going to the heat. I need to be careful with the words that I use when giving you the meaning, because I'm really asking for the verb in this situation. What is the verb in this idiom? To the heat. And I hope that you said take, to take the heat. So when someone takes the heat, yes, they are taking the blame, they are accepting the criticism. So you could use this in a situation where maybe I made a mistake, but I want you to take the blame for it. I say, hey, can you tell them that you were the one that made the mistake? And you might say to me, look, I'm not going to take the heat for your mistake, all right? You need to take the heat because you are the one who made the mistake. Or if I wanted to talk about criticism, I could say some of the company executives took a lot of heat for their inappropriate comments, and they were criticized for this. Now, you could also slightly change this idiom and say you're going to take the heat off someone. And this just means to reduce criticism. So to follow up on that sentence that I just said, I could say when some of the company executives resigned because of their inappropriate comments, that took some of the heat off of the CEO. So perhaps the company was getting a lot of criticism, the CEO, the executives, and then those executives resigned, and that reduced the criticism and took some of the heat off the CEO.
Your mom is wrong.
I'm gonna tell her you said that.
That's okay, you tell her. I'll take the heat.
Then I have this expression for you, okay? If you can't take the heat, get out of the okay? And that blank space is referring to, well, a room in your home, all right? I'll give you that hint. If you can't take the heat, get out of the So think about what room in your home might be, well, a little hotter than some of the other rooms. So the answer is kitchen. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And really, you could think it is an expression. People might end up using it like a proverb. And when you say this to someone, you're telling them, look, if you cannot handle or deal with this difficult situation, this pressure situation, then you need to remove yourself. You need to get out of the way. You need to get out of the kitchen. And this is an expression that is actually, widely attributed to former President Harry Truman. And this goes back to the 1940s. And at that time, he was actually a senator, and he was on some committee leading an investigation. And the person that they were investigating was angry. They were objecting to this. And he said something along these lines like, look, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. We are going to continue our investigation.
Welcome to the big leagues, Rutt. Come on now, get up. And take the heat, get out of the kitchen, Rutt.
You have nothing to fear but fear itself. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
And I think that you can absolutely take the heat of learning new vocabulary and learning these idioms. So you don't need to get out of the kitchen. In fact, I think you can actually step up your game and improve your speaking fluency when you join my speaking course. And you can click on the link down below in the description to learn more. And when you do, you will find a special discount just for you. The course is all about helping you speak confidently, speak clearly, and speak naturally. Each week, there is a different speaking topic. You will learn new vocabulary as well as some idioms related to that topic. We do engaging speaking activities. We start each lesson with pronunciation or connected speech. There are also pronunciation video lessons included in the course. And in addition, I will teach you some of the language nuances, like when to use certain words and phrases, the same way I'm doing in this lesson. So if you'd like to sign up, click on that link down below in the description. There's not much time left. The heat is on. And that is the next idiom that I want to talk to you about. The heat is on. And I realize in trying to use it as I was kind of ending that announcement, I've just gone ahead and given you the answer. I'm sorry about that. But when somebody says the heat is on, what this refers to is a situation in which there is pressure to do something or to achieve something, and it's a high pressure situation. So typically you may use this idiom at the end of a statement. Maybe you talk about the pressure situation and then you would follow that with, well, the heat is on. I have 2 weeks until the deadline, so the heat is on. All right, I really need to work hard. And there's even a famous song by Glenn Frey from 1984 that goes, "The heat is on." That was, I don't know if that's going to look ridiculous or not. Anyway.
Hey, freeze. The heat is on.
And then there's this idiom, in the hot. Okay, what word completes this? And I'll tell you the meaning. It refers to, well, someone who's in a position where they're responsible for difficult or important things. And again, this is more of a pressure situation. And you could say someone is in the hot seat, okay, in the hot seat. And often I think people may use this when a person is, well, responsible for answering some difficult questions. And you could say they're in the hot seat. Think about a game show. Someone participates in a game show. They come up and they're going to answer questions in order to win money. So that is a pressure situation. You could say they're sitting in the hot seat. Sometimes I would even use this in the classroom if we're doing an activity in which one person would have to come up to the front of the class and sit down, and all of the pressure was on this person, and I would say, yes, they're sitting in the hot seat.
You're so bad.
What about you? Let's put you in the hot seat, huh? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Okay, it's really hot. Let's continue. The next one is hot under the... And what this means is, well, when someone easily gets angry, especially with things that are not that important, you could say this person is a little hot under the... Trying to give you a hint right here. So the answer is collar, hot under the collar. So again, as I've mentioned before, like you can think of hot is associated with anger, and your collar is just this piece of clothing that goes around your neck, your collar. And if you say someone's hot under the collar, that's what it means. They easily get angry, and often I think you may use this with the verb get, to get hot under the collar. I can get a little hot under the collar when you don't write to me in the comments, okay? I get easily angry about these things that aren't important. I get hot under the collar. And of course, that's not true. I'm sorry, I just said that in the heat of the moment, okay? Just trying to review some of these.
Your owner, Nurses Manukian, has no next of kin.
Well, you seem hot under the collar. Or is that the sweater?
And then there's a hot shot, okay? This is talking about a person, but what do you think is the correct meaning? Does this refer to a person who is too self-confident, too angry, or too greedy? Which is the correct meaning? And I hope that you said too self-confident. So if you say that someone's a hotshot, it means, well, this person is just overly confident in their ability to do something. And I guess it would be more derogatory if you say someone's a hotshot, but you may also use this playfully among family and friends. If somebody's just being really self-confident in their abilities, you could refer to them as a hotshot. So in a more, well, derogatory sense, if I talk about one of my colleagues and say, yeah, you know, he thinks he's a real hotshot at the office. All right, I'm saying my colleague is just way too self-confident, or just more like playful. If you got all of these questions correct and you knew all of these idioms and you're like, yes, I have a perfect score, I'm the best, I know all of this, and I might say, okay, well here's another question for you, hotshot, and I would call you a hotshot if you were acting very self-confident, and that's just more playful because, yeah, we're friends.
Try a round kick.
Is this supposed to be hard?
All right, hotshot. Show me a hook kick.
Unfortunately, I don't have another question for you. That was all of them. So if you got all of them correct, then yes, you would definitely be a hotshot. So with all these lessons, I really just hope that you learned something new. And if you did, please go ahead, hit that like button. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go jump in this pool because it's so hot, and I will see you next time. So long.